Please welcome to the stage your host, Charlotte van Volthoven.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome to the EUREKA Global Innovation Summit. My name is Charlotte van Veldhoven. I'm a moderator within my own company, Charlie Speaks, and it is a great pleasure to be here and to moderate you through the day, and not just today, but also tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. It's a great pleasure to be here, and ladies and gentlemen, what a great turnout. We have more than 2,000 attendees from over 65 countries, which really shows a great interest there is from companies to engage in global collaboration. We can truly say it's a global summit. So, dear audience, what do we have in store for you? This summit is really the perfect opportunity for you to make collaborations and also discover more about global funding opportunities. You will be able to meet international innovators, funders and investors from all over the world, and you'll have great opportunities to network and to talk about future economic growth opportunities. We are actually going to spoil you the coming 3 days with panel discussions, workshops, pitch sessions, matchmaking opportunities, training, company exhibitions, and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I'd like to run you through a couple of practicalities. You're more than welcome to connect with us online via Twitter by using the hashtag EGIS 2019. So we'd love for you to tweet about the different debates and the sessions that you're attending today. Also, ladies and gentlemen, photos and videos will be taken and recorded today, and we'll also make a small event summary video. So I'd like to urge you today to put on your smiling, happy faces. Thank you very much for that. Food will be available because you need to keep and remain fully energized. And at the end of today and tomorrow, from 17:30 onwards, you'll find the EUREKA social bar that will be opened up for you so that you can continue your networking. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we would also like to interact with you. And how can you interact with the different speakers that we have lined up for you today? Well, you can use and download the so-called Slido app, and it actually works very easily. Just download the app and enter the code that will be shown at the start of each session. I only have one final question for you, dear audience. Are you ready? Okay, that is not very convincing. We're going to do that once more. Are you ready? Yeah, much better. Thank you so much. Then it is my great pleasure to welcome our first speaker on the stage, the Chair of EUREKA, Tim Bestwick.
Thank you, Charlotte. Are you ready? Okay, so not as good as Charlotte's one, but we'll keep working on it. Welcome to the EUREKA Global Innovation Summit, and welcome to the great city of Manchester. I'm Tim Bestwick, I'm the chair of the EUREKA Network, and on behalf of all the EUREKA members, the EUREKA Executive Board, the EUREKA Secretariat, and the UK Chair team, we welcome you here very warmly. We're really excited to be here with you, to be part of this extraordinary innovation community, global innovation community. It's all about international collaboration, and as Charlotte said, it's really fantastic that there are 65 different countries represented here, with actually half of you from smaller businesses. So over the next 2.5 days, we'll hear about lots of aspects of innovation with some fascinating discussions. We've got innovation labs, workshops, and interactive sessions. They're upstairs. Do find upstairs. It's over that way. There's a global gallery showcasing the different approaches different places take to fostering innovation. That's just outside this way. And there's an expert bar where you can get advice on specialist topics and learn more about the EUREKA network. Many of the EUREKA members are hosting their own events in the collaboration spaces, And we're delighted that this is the 10th year that Korea has hosted a Career Day at our annual EUREKA event, and that's taking place this afternoon, and you're going to hear more about that in a bit. EUREKA is all about collaborating in innovation across national boundaries, but it isn't just about talking, it's about doing. And there are some really great case studies in your event guide, which I recommend to you, that just talk about some of the successes that have come out of that network. And I'm not going to highlight them now, but I commend you to have a look at them. We certainly want you to talk to each other, but what we really want you to do is to do business, to find an innovation partner, to collaborate, and to collaborate on a project that will make a difference. Over the next 3 days, 1,300 matchmaking meetings have been booked, being organized by our friends in Enterprising Europe Network, and I believe there are still a few hundred of those left that you could book using the B2 Match app. And indeed, you can still register for some of the Career Day matchmaking sessions as well. We're hoping some really great things come out of those meetings, and we look forward to hearing about them. Your success is the best possible outcome for us, the network. We hope you enjoy this venue and the location. We're here in Victoria Warehouse, located in the Trafford Park area of Manchester. Trafford Park said to be the world's first planned industrial park, been here for 120 years. Just by the side of what was Manchester Docks, and you'll see if you look on the map that we're just opposite Ontario Basin, which gives a clue as to the nature of the international trade that's been here with a very strong link with Canada. But of course, this area is really, for many people, better known as the home of Old Trafford, Manchester United Football Club, which is a couple of hundred metres that way. Manchester is a great football city, home to two great teams, Manchester City and Manchester United. The English Premier League has been going for about 27 years, and Manchester team has won almost 2/3 of those. And congratulations, of course, to Manchester City for winning this year on Sunday. In the combined first squads of Manchester United and Manchester City, there are 19 different nationalities, and their managers are Norwegian and Spanish. Their football excellence is based on truly international talent. To be the very best means operating on a global basis, and that is true in business as well as in football. Do enjoy this meeting, do make some great connections, and together let's deliver some amazing innovation projects. Now it's my great pleasure to welcome on stage Ian Campbell. Ian Campbell is the Executive Chair of Innovate UK, and Innovate UK is the UK agency that delivers the EUREKA in the UK. Ian.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Tim. And before I start my main speech, I think we actually should congratulate Tim, David Golding, Dora, and the KTN team for finding us such a unique venue, but also for their hard work and diligence over the past year in their chairing of EUREKA. I think they've done a splendid job, and we owe them a round of applause. Now, as Tim said, this building is actually at the heart of Manchester's industrial strength and innovation. It represents about 100 years of strength here. And it's very apt that we host the UK Chairmanship event in this building as we continue to drive and strengthen those collaborative links to drive the ecosystem and upskill, uptrain, and drive productivity forward. We're in a world that is rapidly changing, where population is growing older, climate is changing, energy usage is soaring, and food resources are very low. This highlights some of the key challenges that are global, and therefore the prospect of EUREKA partners working together to assist and solve these, to shape the future, guarantee our long-term prosperity, and emphasize the importance of how we use our resources has never been greater. As both Charlotte and Tim have said, there's over 2,000 countries and organizations represented here, 65 countries, all with the one passion and goal in mind, to create global, business-focused research, development, and innovation. As Tim said, my role at Innovate UK is to lead the UK government's innovation agency. I'm proud that the UK is a strong economy. I'm even more proud of the organisation I lead that tries to drive that forward. And I'm ably assisted as part of UK Research and Innovations with all the hard work and diligence from the research councils in providing world-leading academic facilities, leading research, and links to world-leading businesses. We are actually a location of choice for businesses here in the UK. We're at the cutting edge. We've got edge of the markets with highly skilled labour, a focus on innovation and technology, a government that is supportive of the innovation strategy through our industrial strategy, with high levels of employment and stable, dependable law. All of these together make the UK a great place to do business, and in actual fact, with the latest Global Innovation Index, the UK ranks 4th in the world, having moved up from 5th last year, so we're clearly going in the right direction. But more importantly, doing business in the UK is relatively easy. According to the World Bank's Doing Business report of 2019, the UK ranks 9th out of 190 countries in being able to set up a company quickly and efficiently. It's a rather simple process. And as I said, the government's modern industrial strategy is strengthening the UK's innovation skills, our research and development infrastructure, the business environment, and with an emphasis on place and ensuring that all parts of the UK benefit from that challenge as we try at the same time to begin to address some of the great modern challenges such as driving delivery of new medicines or indeed tackling climate change. In my role at Innovate, I've got a very simple mandate. I want the UK to be the best place in the world for businesses to innovate, to grow, and to maximise their economic potential, but also provide societal benefits of innovation for the longer term, to drive sustainable economic growth through business-led innovation. It's very clear that innovative societies are amongst the most successful in the world. I want the UK to be at the forefront of that and to help the government achieve its ambitious spending target of reaching 2.4% of GDP being spent on R&D by 2027 to ensure that we are globally competitive and keep up with the likes of the US, Korea, Japan, and Germany. But actually, I want us to be radical and have radical innovation. Not only do I want you to meet, connect, and do business, I want you to meet people you've never met before. I want you to connect in different ways, because that is what will drive true innovation and compelling change for the future. Just meeting our known collaborators and doing business the way we've always done it is not going to help to address the challenges we face today. That's why I'm delighted that we have over 2,000 people registered to attend here, because I think we need to find new ways of linking, new ways of working, and new partnerships in order to achieve what we think are impossible goals at the moment. And in particular, I want the UK to be a key global partner, to bring together talent, people, network, and skills to drive the future. I want us to be a global platform for the technologies of tomorrow and be a partner for a sustainable future. We know that businesses that develop a global footprint are more likely to thrive, grow, and actually drive their solutions onto a new scale. And really doing that, the most innovative businesses also have strong international collaborations, and that's why we're here today, to try and forge more collaborations that really take UK research, but research in general, take it forward from being a great idea and a concept at the discovery phase, through translation and innovation, and ultimately into commercial success. And I know that Tim and the team and their chairmanship of EUREKA are keen to continue to find new ways of collaborating, to facilitate the UK and other countries working together, finding research partners, international partners, and really driving EUREKA across the world. There are endless possibilities through discussions with all the talent we have in this room. We have a world of customers. The need has never been greater to find new solutions, but we also have markets to develop, supply chains to grow, and new people to work with and collaborate with. Over the next 3 days, you will have a terrific opportunity to meet new people. I urge you to do that. As Tim says, there are a plethora of meeting zones, companies displaying what they have done as a result of their investment through EUREKA, and also at the same time, new individuals looking for new challenges. I believe that global collaboration is vital for success. I think it's our duty to find new solutions and try and adapt the technologies of tomorrow and deliver them as quickly as possible. That has to be at the heart of everything we do to safeguard our future, the future of our children, and more importantly, the future of their children too. The need has never been greater, but the opportunity has never been as easy to resolve. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to Chris Skidmore, our Minister of State for Universities, Science, Research and Innovation. And he's going to leverage what I've said to talk about how we are going to achieve our ambitious target of 2.4% of GDP being spent in R&D by 2027. Thank you very much.
Good morning. It's an honour to stand before you to speak as the UK's Science Minister at EUREKA's Global Innovation Summit. And it's been an honour too for the UK to host the chairmanship of EUREKA this year for the first time in 22 years. The UK has been a proud member of EUREKA since its establishment, and we will continue to do so. For it's summits like this today that we can reflect upon our common endeavour. In EUREKA, we have over 2,000 delegates here from 65 different countries. Now, we may come from different cities, different countries, and even different continents, but what unites us all here to be in this same hall is one single passion. And it was that same passion that brought about the establishment of EUREKA at the Paris Declaration some 34 years ago. It's a passion embodied in EUREKA's own motto, those three simple words: innovation across borders. For all testament to the fact that science, research, and innovation knows no boundaries. By its very essence, it seeks to break them down and indeed to redefine our futures. Science and research achieves this through its own innate spirit of collaboration and collective endeavour. Researchers working across national boundaries, placing progress for tomorrow above the political issues of today. The UK has sought to use its chairmanship of EUREKA to help expand the opportunities for researchers to help develop their shared agendas. We announced in June 2018 three ambitious objectives to make ours an effective chairmanship year. First, to broaden the global participation of the network. Secondly, to improve the visibility of the value the network brings. And thirdly, to provide an agile platform that can adapt to the changing needs of the R&D and innovation community. One mark of success was bringing new countries into EUREKA, and we achieved this through multilateral global stars calls with India and Taiwan, and I'm pleased to announce that the UK chair will tomorrow sign a declaration of intent to launch a call with Singapore. We've also been looking at Argentina's potential associate membership of EUREKA, and we hope to conclude this at a final London EUREKA network meeting in June. On recognising the value of EUREKA, the UK chair has resulted in the development of a new communication strategy, as well as increased engagement amongst member countries across the board. Together, we've developed the third Eurostars programme with over €1 billion to help innovate SMEs to collaborate, scale and grow. Eurostars 3 encompasses a broad set of activities and a larger target group of companies, enabling growth of a new and exciting generation of SMEs. Now, as our chairmanship comes to an end, what resonates particularly strongly with me are the themes of this year: global, valued and agile. For they remain themes that I also believe the United Kingdom must continue to commit to as a nation. We've made that public commitment, as Ian said, of ensuring that 2.4% of our GDP is invested in research and innovation by 2027. Internationally, as you all know, many countries, including South Korea, exceed this target. So the UK must, I believe, raise its investment if we're to maintain our commitment to the future. Indeed, if we do not, we risk falling further behind other nations in the development of emerging technologies. The US, China, France, Germany, and others have already set out their own ambitious strategies for maintaining global influence in innovation. And we too must raise our aspirations. To be leaders of tomorrow, we must act now, redoubling our efforts, both as a government and as UK business and industry, to meet that 2.4% challenge. Now, the road to 2.4% requires massive public and private investment. In 2017, we invested £34.8 billion in R&D across all sectors, the equivalent of 1.7% of GDP. Now, to achieve 2.4%, investment will need to increase to around £70 billion, doubling in nominal terms. But I believe that we can, and indeed we must, meet this challenge. Across the world, 14 countries, including emerging research nations such as China and South Korea, have successfully increased their R&D commitments made by this scale and indeed beyond. And with 30 countries internationally having active R&D intensity targets, ensuring that we keep pace with the plans of our international partners must be a national priority. We must learn from and indeed adapt to other countries increasing their R&D intensity. Our industrial strategy has already set out an additional £7 billion to be spent on research and development by 2022, the largest increase in the UK for nearly 40 years. And as Science Minister, in advance of the UK's comprehensive spending review this year, I want to set out what I believe are the core principles and indeed the framework that must underpin our overall strategy to reach 2.4% target. There are 4 key themes that I believe need to be addressed. Last week, I gave a speech at the London School of Economics, setting out what we need to do to invest in the talent and the researchers of tomorrow. I'll also be making speeches on the investment required in emerging technologies, and also how we must ensure that private investment in R&D can be fostered and increased. But today, I wanted to address with you what must be a crucial part of the road to 2.4% strategy, strengthening the UK's global position within the international research community. And to return to those key themes, those key 3 themes of the EUREKA Chairmanship: global, valued, and agile. It's clear that international research partnerships cannot simply be forged for their own sake. They must have a focus, a clear sense of purpose, and deliver meaningful outcomes for our societies. Increasing and strengthening international partnerships must be the future of scientific collaboration. And where EUREKA blazed a trail 34 years ago, today we must reach even further, forging and strengthening new relationships with countries that are equally interested in expanding their research capabilities. But we must ensure that these new partnerships, while increasingly globaled, are centered in their value and indeed commitment to expanding excellence. They must also be agile enough to adapt to the changing demands of the future. We're all living through enormous technological, social, environmental change, and the UK is determined to direct our world-class science and research innovation towards tackling these global challenges. That's why we've identified the 4 grand challenges in our industrial strategy: harnessing the potential of data and artificial intelligence, moving to clean growth to combat climate change, transforming how people, goods, and services move, and adapting to that new reality that many people around the world will start living beyond 100. These, however, are global challenges, and we will only successfully begin to tackle them through global collaborations between government, scientists, researchers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and businesses and societies. Only by working together will we meet the shared challenges of climate change, an aging society, an increased population with equally increased ambitions to live improved lives. And that's why we've invested already £1.5 billion in our Global Challenge Research Fund, over £700 million in the Newton Fund, which partners with countries across the world on issues that affect developing countries. But the discoveries and impact of this research can, of course, benefit us all. Back in January, we committed £200 million to 12 interdisciplinary research hubs working across 85 different countries. And these will build new global collaborations to tackle some of our biggest challenges, such as preserving our oceans, averting flooding risk, ensuring gender equality, boosting life prospects for teenagers, and indeed protecting future cities against disasters. But we must never lose sight of the fact that the purpose of scientific research must always be centered on excellence. International infrastructures ensure that excellence can be nurtured and indeed expanded globally. And later today, I'll be heading to Jodrell Bank, the headquarters of one of the most ambitious international science projects in history, the Square Kilometre Array, a project of such huge scale that it gets to be called mega science, and is the fruit of the combined efforts of 11 different countries. Now, the UK is proud to be the international headquarters of this project, just as we are equally proud to continue to host the Joint European Torus Fusion Reactor in Oxfordshire, known simply as JET. Hosting JET has enabled the UK to become a world leader in fusion technology. And following the triggering of Article 50, one of the first things we did as a government was to guarantee our fair share of JET costs if the EU extended the contract. In the spring statement this year, the Chancellor guaranteed our commitment to the UK's funding for the JET nuclear fusion reactor, whatever happens with Brexit. And in March, we signed a new contract extension with the European Commission. Crucially, this will last to 2020, to the end of 2020, regardless of wider EU exit negotiations, safeguarding this world-leading facility and over 500 high-skilled science and engineering jobs. And when it comes to developing the future of fusion, the UK is also keen to continue to participate in ITER in southern France. UK companies are currently helping to build this exciting international project, which will open the possibility of net generation of electricity through nuclear fusion by 2025. And we're equally determined to maintain our commitment as a founder member of CERN in Switzerland, investing £137 million last year, maintaining our position as globally the second largest contributor. And the same is the case for our membership of the European Space Agency. At ESA 2016 ministerial meeting, we made a record investment of 1.4 billion euros, bringing our average annual subscription with ESA to over 350 million euros per year. And I plan to renew our subscription to ESA at this year's ministerial meeting, investing in highly ambitious programs that are not only about collaborating in Europe, but with the rest of the world. And these programs include a renewed ambition for humankind to explore deeper into space, establishing a lunar gateway space station, orbiting the moon, and using UK world-leading robotic expertise for the first time to return surface samples from Mars. It's our commitment to infrastructures like ITER, CERN, and ESA, and indeed all future technologies, that must be a common one that puts short-term politics aside. The UK may be leaving the European Union, but we are certainly not and must never leave behind our commitment to our European research and innovation partnerships. And that's why, as a government, we've committed and guaranteed funding for all successful competitive UK bids to Horizon 2020, submitted before we leave the EU in a no-deal scenario. In 2018, we extended this no-deal commitment to cover all successful competitive UK bids to Horizon 2020 calls that we can access as a third country and are submitted between exit and the end of 2020. And vitally, we will continue to fund these projects in a no-deal for the entire lifetime of the projects beyond the end of 2020. And it's why, as a science minister, I'm keen to explore how the UK can fully participate in the future of the Horizon Europe programme. I attended the EU Competitiveness Council meeting in February to agree these regulations, and I hope to attend the next council meetings on the 28th of May and the 4th of July. It's vital that the UK remains around the table, helping to shape the future of the programme and indeed ensuring it maintains its commitment to excellence. I want to send a message today that as the UK, we value our partnerships with our European neighbours and friends, and that we maintain that shared commitment to joint working on science and research. Just as we continue our membership of ESA, we will also continue our existing memberships of the European Research Infrastructure Consortia, which we have joined. We are, of course, European, but we must also extend our international reach if we're to meet that 2.4% commitment. Our universities, with 4 in the top 10 and 18 in the top 100 in the latest QS global rankings, and indeed with 97% of all UK universities in the world's top 5 universities, have long understood this. World-class institutions attract world-class knowledge, producing world-class talent. And it's this talent and knowledge, but more importantly, the people who work within these institutions, that attracts the leading R&D intensive international companies who seek to co-locate and indeed cluster near these unique, globally leading ecosystems. And we must never lose sight of the fact that our universities provide what I call a magnetic field that attracts people, business, and investment to the UK. So in Cambridge, we now have Europe's largest technology cluster with 1,500 tech-based firms employing 60,000 people with an annual revenue of £13 billion. It's talent and ideas that are the magnetic poles driving this international investment. In Cambridge, the strength of that research base has attracted R&D investment from multinational businesses such as Amazon, Microsoft, Samsung, and Apple. And here in Manchester, global diagnostics firm Geerdink are working with the University of Manchester to create a world-leading precision medicine campus in the Corridor Manchester Enterprise Zone, creating and supporting up to 1,500 jobs and adding £150 million to Manchester's economy over the next decade. Now, they're not alone. Other big companies such as Unilever, BP, and Rolls-Royce are all choosing to invest in Manchester too. And it's clear evidence that the UK is very much open for business. We want to continue to attract international investment and to be the destination of choice of international companies seeking to partner up with our world-class leading research facilities and universities. And we'll continue to invest in people and talent. Last week, in my first speech on the road to 2.4%, I announced the first 41 Future Leaders Fellows. And in total, we're going to be investing £900 million in 550 fellows. The fellowship has been designed to be truly international, open to researchers from across the world to come and pursue their research in the UK. And winners last week included researchers from Canada through to Japan, who are now choosing the UK to locate and pursue their research careers. As I set out in my speech last week, I want to ensure that every researcher, indeed every potential researcher for the future, will actively consider the UK as the destination of choice. We must also ensure that we frame our international partnerships and shared ambitions for developing emerging technologies. So, for example, we're investing £50 million to partner with South African researchers to develop better battery storage technology, to enable transition to electric vehicles, and indeed wider clean energy systems. And we've launched the UK-Canada AI Innovation Challenge to bring the brightest AI minds together to find solutions for problems across all sectors. And also recently, we've signed bilateral agreements with the US, Canada, and China in 2017, Israel and Thailand in 2018, and where possible, I am keen to do more. That's why we've also commissioned Sir Adrian Smith, the director of the Alan Turing Institute, to review how we can develop future international partnerships and partnership funds, both in the scenario of not being able to associate into Horizon Europe, but also to develop new international grants that will be held in global esteem, open to everyone in the international research community. Sir Adrian Smith is currently consulting on what any future funds should look like, their scale, their framework, and I would urge everyone here in this room to respond to the call for evidence which closes on the 24th of May. The Smith Review, however, is only one part of a wider strategy that the UK is determined to develop as we set out our international ambitions for the future of our international research partnerships on the road to 2.4%. So today, I'm pleased to announce that we are publishing our International Research and Innovation Strategy, otherwise known as IRIS. This strategy sets out, for the first time, the UK's framework for future collaboration internationally for the long term. It sets out a broad, holistic view of our research and innovation system, including not just our universities, our research institutions and businesses, but equally also our regulatory system, our quality infrastructure, and our policy and governance expertise. And it shows, importantly, how each of these can be opened up to international partners for mutual benefit. Now, it can be difficult to frame a whole UK strategic approach to international research and innovation partnership, quite clearly because the drivers and benefits for collaboration are articulated on so many different levels and in so many different ways. But the strategy does attempt to provide a framework to show the breadth of our approach to international engagement, and that's captured under 7 pillars. They cover the UK's commitment as an outward-facing global partner, with partnerships at multiple levels guided, as I've said, by excellence and by impact. These collaborations will be built on access to talent, supporting the international mobility and connectivity of researchers and innovators where the best can work with the best. We will continue to be a global hub for innovation, backed up with incentives and financial support, which will strengthen international collaboration, whether it's about improving the capacity of UK's SMEs to scale and have access to overseas markets, or indeed showing overseas investors that the UK research innovation base can support, connect, and build the technologies and global businesses of tomorrow. And will provide a platform for the technologies of the future through the strength and global reach of our governance, intellectual property, and standards frameworks, which can support the design of a common regulatory approach to support emerging technologies. As a partner for a sustainable future, we want to build and invest in collaborative partnerships, resources to explore the secrets of the universe, address global challenges, and to build capacity in developing emerging countries and to combat local challenges. And of course, there is also the responsibility to be a good global citizen, concerned with improving the global governance of research and improving the impact research has on global governance. And we must not also forget our responsibility to help create global citizens of the future through our international education strategy and through strengthening the global reach of our higher education system, as I set out in my speech at the Going Global conference in Berlin yesterday. As we look ahead to the opportunities and challenges of the fourth industrial revolution, we also, I believe, need to build an international consensus on a range of issues, from research ethics to open science, to share knowledge and build public trust in science and technology, and to ensure that at every stage we recognize the critical importance of communicating the need for science and research to the public, for the public, by the public, and where possible, for the public. The International Research and Innovation Strategy acknowledges this. It embraces the variety of roles that the UK plays internationally. It shows how we are investing over the long term in a set of enduring international research and innovation partnerships in order to drive excellent research, develop new technologies and industries, and tackle global challenges to meet 2.4%. And it's my hope that this will be a framework which we will use not just to achieve that target, but to confidently project to international audiences the value that they will receive from collaborating with a transformed UK, one that's built its future on the collective strength of its research and innovation community. The UK's EUREKA Chairmanship has been a real privilege, and it's a fitting signal of intent that we're marking the end of our tenure with a commitment to invest an additional £30 million over 4 years in supporting UK businesses to participate in EUREKA. And that includes £4 million of funding competitions at this summit for those UK innovators in areas such as AI and quantum who are looking for those new partners and knowledge, skills and markets to enhance their competitiveness. And there's one more opportunity too. The current UK-South Korea bilateral call on the Internet of Things and advanced materials for transport. Today marks the 10th anniversary of Korea's membership to the EUREKA network. So I'm delighted to present a commemorative token and welcome to the stage Vice Minister Cheong Seung-il from South Korea's Ministry for Trade, Industry and Energy. Thank you.
Good morning. I feel deeply honored for this remarkable recognition. I'd like to share this honor with all the EUREKA members whose unwavering enthusiasm and efforts have led to successful cooperative partnership we are celebrating today. My special gratitude goes out to Mr. Tim Bestwick, Chairman of EUREKA, and Minister of State, Chris Skidmore. Thank you. We are extremely proud of great accomplishments made over the past 10 years through EUREKA partnership. Now we will look to the future and commit to the spirit of global EUREKA by expanding our role as a hub of EUREKA in Asia. As the first non-European member country, we will persuade other global member states to join EUREKA. Furthermore, by 2025, Korea intends to double our investment in EUREKA. I hope EUREKA Global Innovation Summit will serve as a platform for members to discuss various ideas for technological cooperation. Finally, I'd like to cordially invite all the EUREKA members to Korea EUREKA Day 2019, which will be held this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and one big hand again to our speakers of this session, Minister Skidmore, Minister Shin Seung-il, Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Bestwick.